Dynamic Project Management introduces, from 4D to automated 5D resource loading case. Automated 5D is a fully integrated platform that centralizes all the project's information, linking cost and finance to BIM design and planning made one central management model a reality. This total system thinking is based on using all the features of design, planning and project management from their source, and integrating them using best practice processes. Also, in the system, proper data quality control procedures are used in conjunction with automatic engineering calculation, in order to create an optimal solution. Construction contracts require various tasks and procedures, from design quantity generation to different contracts and estimation methods, to change management for variations of costs and quantities all along the construction cycle. In addition, tracking of cash flows, executed quantities and payments is essential for project monitoring. In this demo, we will concentrate only on resource management and automating their calculation in the 5D platform. After the automated generation of bills of quantities from BIM and their allocation to their proper contracts, an estimation for each contract and its BOQ resources is performed. Synchronously, the alignment between planning and BIM design should be done to reach an error-free 4D model. It is then where the automated engineering calculation of resources and their loading is performed. Resources include budgeted quantities of BOQs, labor, materials and equipment info. In addition, actual costs for all of these is monitored from site. In this demo, we will only concentrate on the budgets, as the actuals can be seen in detail in another video. Before we move to the 5D resource loading, we should emphasize that the system is multi-company, multi-contracts and estimate system. In addition, each contract or estimate can be divided into partial contracts. In each partial contract, international standard divisions and their BOQs are generated automatically. The contracts could be allocated to clients, consultants, contractors, or subcontractors, or they could be pure installation and procurement contracts. On a more micro level, each BOQ represents a resource on its own, and can even have multiple and different sorts of extra needed resources that are divided into labor, material or equipment categories. To add to this complexity, projects have one or multiple planning, and each planning spans hundreds to thousands of tasks. And each task can include elements belonging to many BOQ types coming from different contracts. Not only that, each BOQ can have different laborers, materials or equipments. This complex system is symbolically presented in the graph you are seeing. In traditional construction, planners and engineers need to calculate all this manually. A tremendous task, that become even more complex when changes occur. That is why budgets and cash flows are an enormous but necessary headache in project management. After this brief theoretical explanation, we move to the real project implementation demo. In this scenario, there are 19 different contracts. Each contract included 1 to 3 partial contracts depending on the specific case. And under each partial contract, tens to hundreds of BOQ types were allocated. So, more than 1,000 BOQ types needed to be managed. The planning for this structural part of the project included more than 12,000 tasks covering multi-phases like concrete casting, formwork, steel, etc. The 4D of the structural part of the project included more than 25,000 construction elements belonging to different BOQs. 15 different BIM files were the design source for this part only. What you will see next is how fast the resources are calculated and loaded for one of these files. Starting from a resource-free planning, we will load into the project called 4DAU and its relevant contract, one of the 15 BIM files. You can see that the source of the file and its path is tracked and stored by the system. And then with one click all the 4D information is downloaded automatically into the project. Please note that the data included also information on executed elements and their dates, but we will tackle this issue in more detail in a separate video covering progress updating. In any case, the engineer can double-check any task and BOQ data and with few clicks, All the BOQs and their resources are calculated automatically by the system as per the 4D model. Then with a small click all of this calculation is generated and aligned with the Primavera plan. Once the planner refreshed the plan, he can see that the tasks now have resources named as per their contract BOQs and as per the 4D. Thus, browsing through the tasks, each BOQ budgeted quantities and prices are embedded for any dynamic cash flow analysis. For example, anchors and panel contract items are allocated on the diaphragm wall tasks. Not only that, certain tasks also include resources called rockwise labor, material or equipment with their budgeted quantities and prices. These quantities are also automatically calculated as per productivity data coming from estimation and 4D model quantities. Details of these summarized resources and the listing of all their materials and laborers can also be tracked in different reports. Simply put, this is as much as is needed to perform resource calculation and loading for this very large file. Given this automation, the resource loading of all the 15 BIM files was performed in less than 1 man-day of effort. Using regular 5D BIM, the listings require semi-automated calculation and spreadsheet comparisons, and thus, from our experience, a similar exercise in regular 5D requires at least 12 man-days of effort. As for traditional non-BIM technology, extensive manual calculation is required and a large engineering team is needed to perform a similar job, as more than 90 man-days of effort are typical in this case. The automation of resource loading and project management have tremendous advantages for budgeting and cash flow control. In addition to this, some features are less obvious but very useful. The first one lies in the fact that the data is comprehensive and centralized, as all resources from different estimates and contracts are kept in one database, and one or multiple planning are managed simultaneously. The second advantage lies in the dynamic nature of this automation and how fast it becomes, as changes are managed easily and quickly with few clicks. Also, the elimination of engineering calculation or any search for information from different departments saves the valuable time and effort of middle and top management alike. The third advantage is technical, as the system is capable of handling any file size. So, big data is no problem, as the approach was tested on very large projects with millions of records and on very small projects with only few BOQs. Last but not least, the automation eliminates the errors that generally occur in manual calculations, thus high levels of accuracy are reached, and once the 4D model reaches a 100% error-free planning, the resource loading reaches the same level automatically. In conclusion, managing complex project budgets and cash flows is now automated, dynamic, fast and accurate. Thank you, and you can email us on info@dynapm.com.